Welcome back to the Fourth and Gold podcast. We open up week 10 of the NFL season. Before we get to the games, there's a few things that I think we've got to discuss, Paul. It would be ignorant of me not to just mention the passing of Marshawn Kneeland. Um, it's just crazy at the age of 24, so tragic. I'm not going to speculate on the details and just say prayers to his family. Basically, this is a terrible moment. And his last football memory will be scooping up that fumble and running into the end zone on Monday night. So crazy to think what can happen in a few days.
Yeah, it's only Monday night, and now we're on Thursday. We're at Thursday.
Yeah,
Yeah, savor these moments. Like you never know.
you never know. So I think before we get to the games, there was quite a big event this week with the trade deadline. So I thought maybe we'd touch on and react to some of these, kind of big moves that happened on the day. Do you want to? Is there any one trade you want to start on, Paul?
I was just going to start on a team as a whole because
Okay.
uh, the New York Jets were involved in the two biggest trades of the day, I would say, and the forecast for the Jets is set out for the next couple of years. They are in tank mode now. They've acquired these draft picks and they've turned it over to Aaron Glenn. What I hope for the Jets is like that Aaron Glenn has got a promise. No such thing in the NFL, but if he has been given assurances that he is going to be here for the 2 or 3 years that at least it's going to take to hopefully come through the other side of this. The individual trades, the two trades that they made, I think they did pretty well out of them, the Jets. The Jets have at least, I've heard they have a good defense, but these two players have been on this defense while they've not been great overall as a team. The defense hasn't carried them. Sauce Gardner came into the league, first round pick, shut down corner, big man, press corner. He's long, he's sticky, all of these things. Great rookie year, and I haven't seen a lot since then. He gets a lot of penalties. I think it's a lot for the Colts. I think it's a lot for the Colts to give up. And turning over to the Colts side, you're giving up these draft picks. Okay, this year's one's going to be a late round pick because of the start that you've had to the season. But since Andrew Luck retired, who's played quarterback for the Colts? Okay, well, the answer is it's a lot of guys, but it's not been one consistent guy for a period of time, at least with not continued success. So if you're the Colts, what are you saying? You're saying that, okay, we've seen enough with Daniel Jones. And then if it's not Daniel Jones, then you're involved in this. You're just involved in the same thing that he have been involved since Andrew Luck retires before the season. So I don't get it from the Colts. I think it's a lot for Sauce Gardner. I hope I'm proved wrong for their sake. And for the Jets, I just love it because like you're not going anywhere. And I heard of Jets. So my YouTube feed is still full of angry New York Jets sports radio guys. And this one guy, he actually wasn't that shouty, but I thought he made a really good point. He said, these two guys, I think, are two of the most overrated guys in the NFL, Quinn Williams and Sauce Gardner. They've come into the league with names, and yeah, they've had moments, but they've been on this team while this team's been terrible. They haven't affected it all that much. And you're getting that value back from these two players, and you're not even close to challenging. You take the deal all day long. You take the deals that were offered to you. For the Colts, I just don't get it. Like, are the guys going to get fired? No. So why are you gambling on a cornerback? A cornerback. And the Colts have your guy, Javarius Ward. I think he's a better.
Him
Maybe,
and Sauce didn't get along for a little while.
yeah, I don't know. Like,
So,
I just don't get it from the Colts. And from the Cowboys, like, right. So, Quillen Williams, the reputation at least is that he's an elite run defender, right? What did Jerry Jones say after the Micah Parsons trade?
yeah, stop the run. So he's traded away Micah Parsons and brought in two D tackles basically in Kenny Clark and Quinnen Williams.
And Kenny Clark hasn't worked out yet because they're terrible at stopping the run
Yep.
with up. So they've gone and got Quillen Williams to stuff the middle. And they've given the second round pick this year. And I think it's a first round pick next year.
Yep.
And they could be bad. And that could be a high draft pick.
Mm.
So I think Jerry just committed to it by making that statement, by talking in the media. One of my pet hates, owners talking in the media. He said what they were trying to do. Yeah, we got to get better at stopping the run. He's committed early. So then, and then as well, he said, okay, the deal was already done, but before the Monday night game, yeah, just wait until Thursday because he has to come out and say something. They've just lost on Monday night, and he has to come out and say something after the game instead of like, yeah, well, how about just say nothing? How about just be an owner and just turn up to the game and then leave? But he has to say something. Instead of criticizing his own team, he says, wait until the trade deadline. Because the Quinnen Williams trade was already done.
Mm.
Yeah, I don't love it for the Cowboys and I don't love it for the Colts because I just think it's a high price to pay for these kind of guys. For the Jets, I love it. And you just hope that they make the right decisions in the draft for them. For the young kid, I hate this team. Like if you hope that they make right choices in the draft. They have from memory done fairly well, at least draft projections wise with draft picks. You know, your Garrett Wilsons and yeah, Sauce Gardner. I know I've just slated him, but they drafted him in the first round, and now they've just got two ones back for him. So that's value. You could say Quinn Williams. You know, they get value back for him. Uh, they've got a good O line. The Jets. Who's playing quarterback? Well, they've got the draft picks now to at least give themselves options. Give themselves.
But on that point, Jets, just don't do it. Don't, you've I think you've done well to what? Get three firsts and a second for two players. Don't package it up to get a quarterback. Just pick where you are in the draft. Use your picks because clearly you need talent on this team. So don't, it'd be very easy to just say, well, we've got three first round picks this year, so or next year. So we'll bundle that up and get the number one pick. Okay, but what are you going to support that quarterback with? We've been here before with other teams. So you've done well to get these picks. We'll see where they fall. I mean, the Cowboys one, as you said, could be high, and your one will be high. The last team, so the Colts, okay, that's a late rounder, but take the three players. Don't do what we've seen how many times now with teams trading up and yeah, we've got the quarterback. Okay, but you got nothing else. And we haven't seen that method be successful.
I think they should research the next 2 years of draft of quarterbacks coming out and identify their guy or their two or three guys now. Because with the ammunition that they got, they could take their pick of these upcoming quarterbacks in the next 2 years. I'm hearing it's not really my thing, college football and mock drafts this early, but I'm hearing that next year is better than this year. And that Arch Manning is now not terrible. Apparently, he's turned the corner and he's playing well. So with the Jets, at least you've got some picks, and your O line, the tackles that you've drafted,
Mm.
seem to have had a good start to their career. So you've got a chance. You have got a chance.
If you can overcome ownership.
Yeah, if the owner does not get involved in the draft at all. But yeah, I'd feel better if I was a Jets fan this side of the trade deadline than the other side.
For sure, for sure. Because
And
you've done great. Like really, like to get three first round picks and a second when you're in a team that they've won one game.
and they also got the Colts receiver who was a high draft pick as well.
The guy that dropped the ball.
Yeah, but that's not him. He's a high draft pick. He was on the Colts roster where they have a lot of receivers.
Yeah, yeah.
So he was not going to fit in, and he made that mistake. Yeah, it was for the world to see. The coach
Mm.
wanted to do with him, but this is still a high draft pick who gets a second chance on the Jets team that have Garrett Wilson and some lesser than guys. Your Alan Lazards and others, but Adonai Mitchell has a chance to be the number two receiver for the Jets.
Mm.
I like it for the Jets. I don't like it for the Colts because I think you could, if now what are you saying that it's this year
Mm.
and Daniel Jones is now your future?
Yep. I mean, the thing is, two first round picks. Even if I don't know, like it's difficult to say because I know it hasn't happened, but would you give up two first round picks for Pat Satan in this day and age? Those two, like when you've got the quarterback situation the Colts have got, those picks are extremely valuable. I just don't think I agree. I don't really get it. Like for a corner, like I just don't see the value there. And Source, at the end of the day, they've been on the Jets, right? So Source might play really well in this. What is it, like a Seattle cover three scheme? Um, so he's not going to be asked to, you know, go man to man much in this system. So that will take the pressure off him a bit. This is a good team. So I'm thinking that Source is probably going to play better in this team. But to justify two first round picks, I cannot do that because this is a team that has Daniel Jones at quarterback and he's done very well this year. But I feel like we've seen this movie before with him. So if it all comes crashing down, you're stuck for 2 years, really. Like you've got no assets to play with. You're back in the veteran roulette game for quarterbacks.
Yeah, this is what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying for Colts fans. Since Andrew Luck, you haven't had a franchise quarterback. And now, after half a season, Daniel Jones what are you committed to Daniel Jones? And you even had a get out this week. The Pittsburgh defense gave you a lifeline to back out of these if you're thinking about making a trade like this. Because Daniel, I've seen the memes of Daniel Jones. He had the googly eyes, like giant. The eyes have come back. The Giants' eyes have come back. Those terrified wide eyes. Oh my god! Oh my god! Where are they coming from? Where are they coming from? And so, and they had 6 turnovers in Pittsburgh. So, yeah, and we'll get onto them. But the Steelers aren't like a championship team. So if they can do that to you, then would Sauce Gardner have affected the outcome in Pittsburgh this past week? Absolutely not. So what are we doing? What?
Exactly.
I,
Exactly.
I don't know. I just think that previous game, if you've gone and you've just beaten the Steelers in Pittsburgh and you're riding high, like you're one Adonai Mitchell mistake away from being undefeated, then you're really feeling yourselves. You go, but the Pittsburgh game is like a whoa, 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 whoa. Okay, yeah, we're really good, but we're not there yet. And Daniel Jones could still turn out to be Daniel Jones. So let's just relax ourselves and let's maybe just wait this season out because I think you outbid yourself. You know,
Mm.
is you outbid yourself.
Yeah,
Who
who else was
who
wow.
was making this trade? Who were you bidding against?
Mm. From what it sounds like, I mean, the Jets GM was basically saying the Colts. We had discussions, and they just kept making better offer after better offer after better offer, and then it reached the point where we had to take the deal. I'm not thinking to myself, you were that desperate for a corner. I don't really see it. I don't get it. And like two first round picks for a non quarterback. Like, who would you be spending that on if you could take anyone in the league? It's really quite a small list, I think,
Well,
in
my
this day and age.
two first round picks. Okay, you had to pay him, but it was two first round picks and,
Yeah, edge rusher.
and Kenny Clark. And this trade was two first round picks and Adonai Mitchell.
Yeah, I think that you could justify it with a top tier pass rusher because you know that that's like your quarterback on the defensive side of the ball. So we'll see how it goes with Daniel Jones. I think the Colts have definitely made a mistake, and I think the Cowboys have made. It's just classic Cowboys. They are. They're just random. It's instinct. I'm going to wake up today, and we got to make a trade. We got to be in the headlines as always. The thing is, I like Quinnen Williams, and again, I'm sure that he will produce at a higher level for the Cowboys. Well, I say I'm sure. I think he will. But a first and a second for, again, someone that's on really starting the downturn of his career. Like, he's not really going to get much better at this point. And he's only under contract for what, 18 months? So you could have spent a first and a second on a player that could be gone in a year and a half.
Yeah.
Which, and even if you retain him, is he worthy of a first and a second? I don't think so. So it's another overpay. So again, kudos to the Jets. Like, they've done the first part right, but they often get the second part wrong. So we're going to see if there's a change this time.
Yeah. I just, when your gut reaction when you hear a trade is, I usually go with that. And when I heard Source was traded to the Colts, okay, right, that's interesting. What was the compensation? Two firsts and a player?
Mm.
What? It's crazy. And then I flip to my reaction when I hear that the Eagles have traded for Jalen Phillips for a third round pick. And I go, of course they did. And of course, the rest of the league and the Dolphins let them get away with it again. Like, yeah, Jalen Phillips is potentially an elite pass rusher, and they got him for a third. But with the Colts one, I just thought, yeah, that's crazy. The Cowboys one, I thought, yeah, that's a bit too much, but I sort of get it. But the Colts one, crazy. And the Eagles, yep, this guy got away with it again. Again. Picking on the teams that really need to get rid of contracts. The Dolphins.
Yep.
Who's the Eagles going to deal with at the trade deadline? Yeah, we'll deal with the Dolphins, and we'll deal with. And a forgotten about trade was a pick swap for Jair Alexander. That
Yep.
could turn out to be great. It's not that long ago he was an elite corner. So
And if it doesn't, it doesn't. It hasn't cost them much. So it's
exactly,
well worth the risk.
yeah. But credit to the Jets GM, like you said, he apparently just kept projecting offers, and they kept coming back. And well played, sir. Well
Mm.
played. And now it's down to him to make those draft picks.
Yep.
If you put in these drafts into the Madden draft calculator evaluation, which is the rationale for all of these things, NFL, it would definitely get accepted by the Jets both
Yeah.
times. So, and probably for a lot less.
Apparently, they had an offer for Brees Hall from the Chiefs.
Yeah, I've heard
And
like a fourth.
yeah, and they were holding out for a third. I wish that's the trade I wanted to see on the day because I do feel like I look at the way the Chiefs play
Mm,
and they need a run game. Like it's funny because they played the Bills and the Bills almost showed them this. Look at what we did. We
yeah,
didn't have a run game. We used to look like you guys, and now look at us. We can run the ball, and it opens up every. You know, you're having to sell a little bit out on James Cook here. Thank you very much. Now Dawson Knox is wide open. Dalton Kincaid is wide open. So that was a bit disappointing. But from a Jets point of view, they got rid of their defensive players and they've held on to Garrett Wilson and Brees Hall. So
yeah,
you've said it, like they've invested in their offensive line. If they can just find a quarterback, they've got their number one receiver, they've got their running back, I think. Offensive line on the up, a couple other pieces, maybe, like let's see if AD Mitchell or Lazard or John Mechie, like John Mechie, I quite liked as a number three.
hmm
So yeah, like just get it right this time in the
yeah.
draft.
At least, like when bad, like, but they don't seem to have a plan. Then what are you doing? But at least Jets, like you're gonna be bad, and you're gonna be bad. But at least like you can see where they're trying to go. Oh, some skill position players. Now they've got the draft capital. They've got the head coach. They've got a GM who apparently knows how to make a trade or two. So
Mm,
yeah, like I said, I feel much better as a Jets fan now than I did the other side last week.
100. And just to end on this, the Steelers very quiet, the 49ers very quiet, and I think we both kind of concluded we were happy with that because it's very easy to fall into the trap of we need to get better now. And I don't know for the Steelers. I think, I don't know what the ceiling is for the Steelers, but I certainly know what the ceiling is for my 49ers with all these injuries. And everyone, 49er faithful, a portion of us, screaming for Trey Hendrickson. No, that's not going to change anything.
That
Not,
that would it? He's on a 1 year, isn't he?
yeah.
Yeah.
So, and the irony that I heard that he's injured right now. So,
That
it's,
would be so 49ers. Yeah. Or if he's not, he'd come to you, you'd pay him, you'd trade for him, he'd come to you and he'd get injured.
exactly. So, I was very happy to do nothing.
Yeah. Yeah. With the players that I was hearing were available, like, you know, the maybe the most high profile that didn't move would be Jalen Waddle. I think it cost a lot. Even
Yeah.
even with the Dolphins, like cutting bait with Jalen Phillips for a third, I think it would still take at least the two.
Waddle, apparently they were looking for a first, and that's way too high.
Yeah.
He's really good, but he's not very durable. Like
Mm.
he does get hurt a lot. So I think the smarter option for the Steelers just roll with what you've got and see what happens.
Yeah. Yeah, the Steelers are well, the 49ers and the Steelers are both involved in visits. We both have visits scheduled from Asante Samuel Jr.,
Oh
who,
really? Oh wow. Okay.
yeah, he's doing the tour. He's visiting multiple teams, including the 49ers and the Steelers. Uh, we'll get the Steelers were scheduled for Wednesday, so damn, I haven't checked. I haven't checked if he signed or who he signed for. But he was he was a productive player for the Chargers.
Until he got injured. That's he hasn't quite been the same since that major injury.
Yeah, you need corner help. We need corner
Mhm.
help. Makes a lot of sense. So
Yeah.
yeah, and like you said, and it does make sense. What I've heard from Steelers fans that well, the draft's in Pittsburgh this year, so they want the picks. They didn't want to give up picks. You know,
Yeah.
yeah, it does make sense.
Okay. Well, we will move on to week 10 games. Thursday is a day like it's my happy day of the week because I know the weekend is close and it is the start of the NFL week. But I've got to say, I am underwhelmed by this week's game. Like Thursday night games have been pretty damn good this year, and I'm not that excited for tonight's game. But still, it is NFL. Uh, I'm I'm not gonna say no to seeing a Thursday night game. So who's at home tonight? We have got
The Broncos are at home. It's in Denver.
it's, so, so even worse. So it's Raiders at Broncos.
Yeah,
Um, I think there's really low prospects for this game in terms of betting, but I've come up with something,
of course.
and of course,
No,
and I do think it has a shot, but it's not as elaborate as it normally would be. So what I've got for you is Bo Nix over 219 and a half passing yards. Bo Nix to have 2 passing touchdowns. RJ Harvey over 40 total scrimmage yards. And Cortland Sutton over 56 and a half receiving yards. There is one last thing on this. Broncos -3 on an adjusted spread. You're only getting 6.5 to 1 on that, unfortunately. And for good reason. But if you do want to boost it up, you can get Bo Nix rushing 21 and a half rushing yards, and that will bring you up to 13 to 1. Now, be careful with Bo Nix rushing because I feel like he's only rushing this year when he really needs to. And I'm not sure he's going to need to tonight. Unless, of course, Mad Max goes crazy and starts chasing him around. But he's not hit his over every time this year. So, what are your thoughts on the game, Paul?
my thoughts are this. This might not be. I'm trying to like not not be negative about this game. This might not be a terrible game. This is still Raiders Broncos. Like historically, I grew up in games. They hate each other. Division rival. They really hate each other. And for the Raiders, like surely Gino just cannot continue like this. Like what the hell is going on? He's been cursed since he's gone to the Raiders. And
The
but
irony that he threw 4 touchdowns last week, but on the 2 point conversion, there was like a couple of guys wide open.
yeah, but Brock Bowers came back last week and caught 3 touchdowns. So
Yeah.
Brock Bowers, yeah,
Tells you the problem.
yeah, I and the Broncos still don't have Pat Surtain.
Yeah.
So, so I could see.
The Raiders traded Jacoby Myers, so that was their kind of
Meh.
he's meh, yeah, but that was probably their best receiver outside of Bowers as the tight end.
Yeah, you're struggling if Jacoby Myers is. You're really struggling. Like, no wonder Gino. Yeah, he's putting up with going to the Raiders, and Jacoby Myers is your guy.
Yeah.
Brock been hurt, so at least Bowers is back for Gino now, and I can see the Raiders covering.
Yeah.
But I can see the Raiders keeping it within 10. I see them losing, of course, because it's Thursday night on the road.
Mm.
But the Broncos are involved in one-score games.
They
Five,
are, yeah.
five out of their last six have been one-score games. So I can see a touchdown kind of separation, 6, 7, 8 points. So if I have to bet this, I bet the Broncos, but Raiders cover.
Yep. Not much more to add than that. I think it's a case of just take Bowers out the game, as we saw earlier on in the season. Teams just saying, no, beat us with someone else because you can't. So,
Mm.
yeah, I agree. Broncos win and Raiders cover. But I must say, I think it won't be the greatest game. Just because, as well, the Broncos, they're a really good team, but they're not like a Showtime team. So I expect it to be a bit stubby at times.
Yeah.
And my angle on RJ Harvey is if the game I could see him getting action in the fourth quarter because they would. The problem is like he is the number 2 running back, but he can make big plays as we've seen. So 40 yards could be one play for him. Right, so we move on to Sunday, and it's my favorite type of Sunday because we've got a Germany game. So it is a 4-window Sunday.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we've got, and you wouldn't have thought this at the start of the year, but we've actually got quite a good game. I think they've lucked out. Falcons versus the Colts, 2 of the elite running backs in the game, ready to put on a show, I think. And when I've watched the Falcons in recent weeks, they can't stop the run. They've got real issues dealing with the run game. We saw it with McCaffrey with the 49ers. And last week, Travion Henderson and the Patriots did push them around for a lot of that game. So can the Colts get back to the winning formula? I think they can, because Jonathan Taylor is having, he's basically having an MVP type of season right now. As Aaron Rodgers said to him, you're the MVP right now.
He can't be. He's a running back.
He can't because he's a running back, but it certainly ain't his quarterback.
He can be Player of the Year. That's
Yes.
that's a potential running back award. But
Oh, yeah, but no question. He'd be the front runner right now. The Falcons. I've heard that Penix might not play because
yeah,
the bone injury is affecting him again. So they tried to bring him back, and he was pretty solid in the game. I mean, Drake London, if you're going to have a hat trick of touchdowns, you need to see these catches. Like it was like a touchdown of the month, like reel of amazing catches. But they have I still have a lot of questions with the Falcons. And yes, I think Bijan will put on a bit of a show here. But I think the Colts will be able to handle that better than the Falcons will be able to handle Jonathan Taylor. So on that basis, I'm taking the Colts. 6.5 is way too rich for me, though. I'll have the Falcons cover.
yeah. I don't know if the Falcons being terrible on the road applies internationally as well.
No.
And the Falcons actually played pretty well last week against the Patriots, and that was a lot closer than what I thought it would be.
They fought back well. They did.
Yeah.
I mean, like the irony that Parker Romo, who hit like 5 field goals against the Vikings in week 2, would then miss the point after to tie the game that basically ultimately cost them the game. And I think I saw that he got released. I'm not sure. So
Yeah. Well, that's an easy way to get released as a kicker. But looking at the box score of the Patriots Falcons game, this shocked me. So the Falcons didn't turn the ball over and they sacked Drake May 6 times.
Mm.
And what happened to the Colts last week?
Mm. The
That,
Falcons can rush the passer. So,
well, you'd hope so. The amount they've invested recently in pass rushers, like,
yeah.
yeah, the Falcons they are totally nuts. You do not know on a week to week. They can be here or they can be. We just do not know. This is a team that got shut out, got got whooped by the Panthers 30-0, and then they can beat the Bills at home and completely dominate the Bills and then sack Drake May 6 times. And the Patriots they're on their way to the number one seed in the AFC. And the Falcons go in there and play damn well and are a missed extra point away from tying the game. And they've got Drake London and they got Penix and they got Bijan. And Bijan was kind of shut down last week. So the Falcons they must be really frustrating. Like if they actually put it together, they've got so many good parts to this team.
Hits has come alive.
They're just really, really crazy team. So for me, they're a stay away team in terms of gambling. Or if I just keep it as simple as like I'll fade them when they're on the road, but I'll bet them when they're at home. Yeah, that's the way to beat the Colts. We saw last week is to pressure Daniel Jones.
Mm.
And the Falcons do have a chance to do that. And it's international. So they're both from the same time zone going across to Germany. Don't know about field conditions. I don't know. I just don't know. Like I'll say the Falcons cover. I'll say the Falcons cover. And I want to see how Daniel Jones performs.
Colts win.
Colts win. Colts win by 3.
Yeah.
Colts win by 3. And will Daniel Jones have 2 bad performances back to back?
Mm.
Because then it might be a confidence thing, and then it might continue on. So Colts need Daniel Jones to bounce back. But yeah, this is a game worth getting up early and watching for sure.
I
Because,
think so. Yeah, I think this could be a fun game to watch.
yeah, I think this is a what the fuck kind of a game. Like I, I don't know. The Falcons are just crazy to me. We don't know on a week to week basis with the Falcons, but 6 sacks last week is encouraging for Atlanta.
Yep. Right, on to the next one. Ravens at the Vikings. Ravens are favored by 4.5. I'll hand it over to you, Paul, because you basically spoke it into existence. JJ McCarthy, with all that pressure on him, all credit to him, turned up last week.
He did, and he made a great throw right at the end of the game to close it out. And
Yeah.
they were coming back, like the Lions were coming back into it, and that throw, pressure on, like, yeah, you've had a good performance, but the clutch to end it, great throw. And yeah, we were just, it's 1 week, okay, but we were too quick to say, right, this guy can't play, or because it's easy, we live in TikTok generation, everyone wants headlines, short attention span, whatever. But like, he's not helped by Daniel Jones, Sam Darnold, Kevin O'Connell. Like he needs to have immediate results, or everyone's going to flip to Sam Darnold and Daniel Jones. And he was hurt last year, so. But my takeaway from last week after watching the game back was the Vikings defense played really, really damn good. And Brian Flores, I think, is back as he just confused the hell out of the Lions. And yeah, that was a great game plan. Game ball to Brian Flores. Like,
Yeah.
that was something special. And the Ravens, that's they're back, but are they fully back or?
You can't take anything from that game last week. I mean, They ran a mesh play where two Dolphins defenders ran into each other.
Yeah, yeah. For that, like, and the Dolphins is a great ease your way back into things
Yeah.
for Lamar. This will be tougher.
Mhm.
This will be tougher. It's in Minnesota. I don't know. I think I'm going to do it. I think I'm going to take the Vikings. Two purple teams, Minnesota home field. And the defense played damn well last week. I don't take any value at all from the Ravens beating the Dolphins.
The Dolphins moved the ball on the Ravens' defense. The score doesn't suggest it, but they did. There was like one drive where there was a bad call by the referee. That was like a 40-yard play. And then, of course, like the Dolphins kind of started shooting themselves in the foot with penalties. But they were moving the ball down the field. And you think, whose offense is going to be more potent, theirs or the Vikings?
Yeah, and Lamar didn't run the ball a lot, and that's a big
Right?
part of our offense. So they're easing him back into it.
He ran, but it was it was like you could see it. He wasn't running like with the shackles off. He was like, 10-yard run, and I'll just, yeah, that was okay. But he's had 10 days now, so we'll see this week. Hamstrings are a dodgy one, though. It's
Yeah,
only been 4 weeks. It's very easy for that to re aggravate. So I wouldn't touch Lamar rushing again this week either.
yeah. This is the first test back, so yeah, I'm gonna take the Vikings. I think they're still a really good all around roster, and I was encouraged by JJ McCarthy last week, and the defense played well. So, and I don't think that think this is tough for the Ravens as the first true test back. So, with the points you get, I'll take the Vikings at home.
The Ravens really need to keep winning to stay relevant. But it's one of those, isn't it? It's like I almost forgot how great Brian Flores was because of the sustained lack of ability to stop the run. And they did it last week. So as much as it's what we're going to get from the Ravens defense, it's also what we're going to get from the Vikings defense. And the thing that is just chipping away at me is Lamar's record against the NFC. It is ridiculous. But it's not enough this week. Like, I have to go with what I think will happen. And the Vikings, as you said, their defense is back. I don't think that they're going to just have a one-hit wonder this time. I think they're going to show up again this week. So I'm taking the Vikings as well against my better judgment of Lamar's NFC record. He's got to lose. He's got to lose sometimes, and he's lost twice. So I say Vikings win again. I just don't trust the Ravens defense at all because if the Dolphins can move the ball on them, okay, they didn't finish the drives. The Vikings will be able to as well with Jefferson, with Addison. Like, these are scary weapons. And if McCarthy can just play at a decent level, it's not going to look like that every week because this is rookie year. But if he can just, have a solid game, I think the Vikings win this one. Right, next up, Bills at the Dolphins. The spread is 9.5 in favor of the Bills. I don't like that for the Bills. I know that really and truly the Dolphins are a mess. The GM is gone. I thought it was quite funny, just sort of not, by complete accident, me stumbling across Stephen A, screaming about how the head coach should have been gone. And, the GM, why did the GM go by himself? Well, Stephen A., if you actually followed the NFL properly, you'd see all the dumb contracts this guy's given out. I mean, they paid Jalen Ramsey within the last 12 months and have now traded him. So, no brainer that the GM had to go. The Bills basically won their annual regular season Super Bowl in beating the Chiefs. They were
What?
highly impressive.
What? Seriously, what is up with that Bills Chiefs? Yeah. Okay, but when's the game being played? Oh, it's regular season. Okay, give me the Bills. When's it? It's in January. Ah, give me the Chiefs. It's regular as clockwork. Like same teams, same quarterback, same rosters, and you can almost now it's just almost become weird. Like, right.
So lopsided. What? So Josh Allen and the Bills are now 5-1 in the regular season against the Mahomes Chiefs, but they're 0-4 in the playoffs.
Yeah, but 13 seconds still.
13. Yeah. Oh, yeah. No. Thank you for reminding me. 13 seconds. Yeah.
And
That's not on Josh Allen.
Kincaid was it last year or the Kincaid catch?
Last year.
Yeah, but it's still a tough. Anyway, yeah, I don't want to go over that again. But yeah, Bills.
So the Dolphins played these, in the first game, they played the Bills very close.
They did till late.
Till late, until Tua interception when, they were going to tie the game. And Mike McDaniel, I remember last Thursday, like he was juiced up, like angry Mike McDaniel on the sideline, pumped. I was like, whoa. So they it felt like they were playing with some purpose, and like I said, I thought that there were parts of that game on offense, at least, where they had things going, like they did early in the game. It of course unraveled, as it has been doing for the Dolphins.
Yeah.
But I just go back to what you say every week. This Dolphins defense stinks. They're so bad. They can't cover anything, as you've been telling me. So I have to take the Bills. But it wouldn't surprise me if the Dolphins keep it close and cover this, because the Bills, they're not a dominant team. And divisional setting is at the Dolphins. I know they blew them out last year, but I think that was the game where Tua, that was like Tua concussion game. But I'll take the Bills. I think that they're riding high after last week, but don't expect them to just blow the Dolphins away. I say close game. Bills win, Dolphins cover.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think the only way that the Bills blow them out is if the Dolphins do Dolphin type things with turnovers, as they did last week against the Ravens. Yeah, but you can say this for most teams in the NFL, but when they don't make dumb mistakes, the Dolphins aren't actually terrible. They're not terrible, but so they could keep this close, and the Bills kind of do play that style of football where it's ball control, and they're not going to blow you out with like spectacular plays. They're more methodical and just march down the field slowly and wear you down with the running game and the short passing game. Yeah, so yeah, I completely agree. I would take the Dolphins to cover and the Bills to win. And but big picture, great win for the Bills last week against the Chiefs. And yeah, it's set up for exciting games moving forward. Like the Bills now chasing down the Patriots, and the Chiefs are now behind the Broncos and the Chargers in their division. So yeah, it's set up perfectly in the NFC, AFC. And the Colts got beat last week, so Texans, Jaguars this week. Like the AFC is going to get exciting now.
It is. And I'm gonna just put the fork in the grass now and say I think the Bills and Chiefs will meet again. I'm not saying AFC Championship, but I'm saying in the playoffs, these two just have a habit of meeting each other at some point. I say we're gonna get Mahomes, Josh Allen, part 11 in the playoffs.
Well, it's not a controversy. It's not a hot take. It's not a
No?
statement. Look at recent history. Like, yeah, they're gonna meet again, most likely.
Right, so moving on from the Bills at the sort of top of the AFC, we head down the bottom. We've got Browns at the Jets. The Browns are favored by 2.5. And before I hand over to you, Paul, 2 weeks ago in New England, Miles Garrett had 5 sacks, and the game didn't go their way. They lost comfortably. And Miles Garrett on the sidelines, slamming his helmet into the ground, sulking, sitting at the end of the bench by himself. And all I have to say to you is, I love you as a player, but I have no sympathy for you whatsoever. You signed up for this. You're the one that signed the 40 million per year contract. You you demanded a trade, and I fully supported that. I wanted to see you go somewhere else where you would have got paid anyway. But you signed up for this, so no sympathy from me.
Yeah, I mean, you know my thoughts on the Miles Garrett thing when he demanded the trade. And he got what he wanted. He got what he truly wanted. So you're still on the Browns. Okay, congratulations, and you compensated well for being on the Browns. And did both these teams have a bye last week? Did we
So,
have a bye? They're both coming off a bye.
oh wow, they're both coming off a bye. Yeah, so
Okay. Okay, I know they both played international, but okay, right. Like, yeah, these two teams. Yeah, the Jets need to lose games, and the Browns do lose games. So who wants to lose this game more? And the Jets have probably given away two of their better players,
mhm.
potential talent in the future. Not for now. They're going to suck for now, and they've already sucked. And their defense, like, yeah, put in, they beat the Bengals, but they scored all those points. Do you give any credit to those points against the Bengals? Not as much because it's against the Bengals. The Browns
Have
have
a defense.
they do have a defense, but then they have one of these name brand defenses, but they do give up big points from time to time as well. Like the Patriots, Drake May had a day against the Browns. Like they can be got at. Justin Fields not going to get at them like Drake May and the Patriots.
Mm.
But yeah, I think the Jets are in full tank. This is in Cleveland. I wouldn't bet on this game.
It's at Jets.
It's at Jets. Okay. It doesn't affect my pick. I'll still pick the Browns to win a pretty ugly game. I wouldn't even get involved. Two bad teams, I wouldn't even get involved in the under because
Mm-mm.
of mistakes, poor tackling by the Jets.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the unders, I think the overs, the over could be the way with this game. Oh, it's only 38 points. Yeah, I
Yeah.
think. But yeah, these teams are like big picture. Browns win. Don't watch it. Over points.
Browns win. Browns cover. As you said, Jets should be in full tank mode. Uh, Even though you've said it, like Sauce has not played well. He's not. He's clearly not who Aaron Glenn wants, and it feels like maybe he doesn't really want Quinn and Williams either, because Quinn and Williams is, and I say this lightly as a civilian, he's a smaller type of D tackle. Like he's not one of the big guys like the Lions have got. That maybe Glenn is used to. So maybe that's part of the thinking. And it just means it's an opportune moment for my man Quinshon Judkins to go off. So uh yeah, Browns win, Browns cover, Jets keep going down that order. This game will be interesting for certain. Jaguars at the Texans. Jaguars favored by 1.5. I cannot trust the Jaguars, who, by the skin of their teeth, beat the Raiders coming off a bye week.
Yeah.
What I will say is thank you to my man Travis Etienne, who was the last on a 5-leg parlay for me last week. I put my faith in my man, Paul, and he delivered. So
He had a couple of weeks off, but he's back.
he's back against the Raiders of all teams. I sense he will be under this week, though, because this Texans defense is very, very good in my book. And they're playing against an inconsistent offense with a quarterback who I have finally jumped off the bus with. Like, I'm just not going to get there with Lawrence. I had hope at one time because he showed flashes of what he could be, but he's just not. I don't think he's going to get there. They've got all the weapons, though. They do have good weapons. It's not going to matter against this Texans defense, though. So it's a case of what can the Texans do on offense to, well, deal with all the pressure that the Jaguars throw at you, because the Jaguars defense is aggressive. Like they come after it. But if they come after it, that means that there are openings. And I don't know if CJ Stroud is going to be back this week, I think, because it was, I want to say, was it a concussion? I might just want to check that because I don't think. Let's see. Well, oh wow, okay. So he has not practiced the last 2 days. That that is tricky because, and I forget the backup's name. Who was the backup? The guy with the long neck?
Davis.
Davis Mills.
Yeah.
Who, yeah, like he's a backup level quarterback. You know what? I'm taking the Texans because I'm a believer in this defense. And I think they're going to cause Lawrence a lot of trouble. Now, if you remember the first game between these two in Jacksonville, it was like both quarterbacks trying to lose the game. So who can play cleaner is the question in this game, because the two defenses are better than the two offenses. But I just think the Texans defense is that much better. So I'm going to say that the best unit on the field wins this game. Texans win, therefore Texans cover.
I'm seeing that it's being confirmed that he's out.
Fine. I'm still rolling with the Texans.
CJ Stroud ruled out due to concussion. And other news, my man Rico Dowdle has a quad injury.
Oh, damn.
But is he That's the headline that he's out, but the injury report, wait, for this game.
He hasn't practiced Wednesday or Thursday, so that tends to suggest he will be out.
So D'Amico Ryans was interviewed on Wednesday and said Stroud is in concussion protocol and will not play this week.
Okay.
That sucks because this is it for the Texans. They're 3-5. The Jags are 5-3. So
Wow, this is massive.
yeah, and then the Colts are sat there at 7-2.
Jags win, that's a sweep. That means they hold the head to head. So it's like worth 1.5. Well, really 2 games for them.
Yeah, and you have to think if this was any sort of other injury, then Stroud would play.
Yeah.
Their hands are tied with concussion. Just on the basis of that, I'm going to take the Jaguars. I don't like it, but I'll take the Jags. Yeah, you're right about the Texans defense. The Texans defense, right? When you look at the standings, the Texans defense have, have conceded, I think it's the fewest.
They're number 1 in yards, I think, and number 1 in points.
They're number 1 in points allowed.
Yep.
And they've got a positive points differential, and they're 3-5. What on earth has happened? Well, we know what's happened is what we said in the offseason. Their offensive line sucks. And now their quarterback's got hurt when they're trying to chase down the surprising Colts. And it had to be this week because they've had to win this week. I always gave them the chance of getting back into it in this division because I just thought that the Colts would come back down to earth, and I always thought they would finish ahead of the Jags. But they need CJ Stroud this week. And if he's not going to play, then grudgingly, I'm going to pick the Jaguars. But I don't love it.
It feels like it is a must win for the Texans this week.
Absolutely is.
Otherwise, it's done.
Yeah. So what? You're 3-6. So what the best? So if you win out, the best you can get is 11-6. And the Colts are already, even before this week, sat on 7 wins. I think this is
it.
This is it for the Texans. Such a shame. But
well, we'll see. We'll see.
Go and get offensive line in the off season.
Yeah, just
get some offensive line.
And get a fullback. Like, I don't know why everyone is not seeing the model. Like, if you've got a bad offensive line, look at what the 49ers are doing. Okay, not everyone's going to get a Kittle, but I'm sure there's some fullbacks out there. Next up, this is a very intriguing game. This is one I actually want to watch. Patriots at the Buccaneers.
Yeah.
Now, I spent some time this week taking a little deep dive into the Patriots to see what all the fuss was about. And I've got to say, I'm quite impressed with Drake May. Like, he is like pretty efficient overall. This offense is pretty efficient. And I'm happy to see Travion Henderson, even if it was by the fact it was an injury, get his chance properly and show that he is a better option than Stevenson. Now, with May, you've got to try and disrupt what is going on from -5 yards to 20 because he is super efficient. But what you need to kind of get him doing is throwing it deep where he's not as good yet. And he's very mobile. But what I would say is calm down a little bit because there's a lot of mistakes like fumbles. That's the one minus I would say against Drake May for this year is just protect the football a bit better. But he's very good. I'll give him that. They're coming up against a Buccaneers team that is undermanned on offense. So Evans is down, Godwin is still down, and so you're rolling with your rookie sensation Abuka. You've got a little bit of an X factor with your seventh rounder Tez Johnson, and the tight end on is good. But what I would say is this Patriots corner, Gonzalez, is very good as well. So I don't know if Abuka is going to have a big day, but he certainly needs to because they haven't looked the same in the last few games, the Buccaneers. Even against the Saints, that was not a great offensive performance. And I know it's a divisional, I know it's the Superdome, but they have a standard now and they're falling a bit short of it on offense. So that makes me nervous. They're coming off the bye week. We saw last week the Lions, that doesn't always work in your favor. This is probably the first time I've done it this year. I'm going to take the Patriots in one of these kind of bigger games. I'm not sold on them as a contender, and I'm not going to be this year because I think that they're a bend but don't break defense, and they're a move the chain offense. They lack some explosion overall, I'd say. It's very much like Brady and Belichick, to be honest, like the way that it's quite efficient and yeah, we're not sort of big play offense. We're not over aggressive on the defensive side. They're a good team, and with a few more additions, they can be a great team. In this game, I will take them though. I'm concerned with the Buccaneers, just the injuries they've been dealing with.
Yeah, I will watch this game. I'm interested. I was really high on the Tampa Bay Bucks before the start of the season, and I'm sticking with them. But my interest in this game is can New England serious? Yeah, they beat the Bills, but this is a real test to go into Tampa. I know Tampa's a bit banged up, so I'll watch this game, but I'm going to pick the Bucks. They've coming off their bye week, and I like Baker Mayfield greater than Drake May. Sorry, recent
That's
recent
fair.
guys on the bandwagon of Drake May. I like Baker Mayfield. I like the grittiness of Baker Mayfield and this team. I think they're going to overcome. They'll do their best anyway to overcome the injuries that they have. And yeah, the Patriots are just rolling off a lesser than schedule. And yeah, I just think the Bucks. I think the Bucks will win this game some way somehow. It's Baker Mayfield.
Special mention to Clavon Chason, who's like suddenly found a gear with the Patriots. Like he's bounced around for like how many teams now? Like drafted at the Jaguars. That's not really setting you up for success. Then he ended up on the Raiders, and now he's at the Patriots on a minimal deal, and he's fighting for his future. So fair play to him.
Mike
It's like
Vrabel. Mike Vrabel gets it
yeah,
going.
it's like a Jim Harbaugh effect. It's like instant.
Yeah, the Titans star, the poor Titans fans when they were losing to the Patriots and they were chanting for Vrabel.
Damn. Okay, next up we have got Saints at the 100% winning record at home, Carolina Panthers. What
Yeah,
say you? Well, what a win against the Packers, who once again shit the bed a little bit.
yeah, but I haven't watched the game in detail, but the coach is getting slated for that game. LaFleur again. Uh, because he's not turning it over to Jordan Love. I don't know. The Packers like didn't punt, but they only scored 13 points.
Hmm.
And you just don't get it with the Packers. Like they're so talented. They've got so many guys, but maybe they're using the regular season to get themselves together for the playoffs. But it's dangerous because you could lose home field, you could lose seeding in the playoffs, and yeah, I don't know. That
It's a play with they play with fear. Like that's the offense to me. It's a play with fear offense. Even when they're down in the game, he's trying to run the ball like 6 times, and it worked. They got it in the end zone, but I'm just like, you're putting all your eggs in that basket. Like this is the drive. If you don't get it, you're done. Like you need. I do feel like they need to be more aggressive, but I know this isn't about the Packers.
yeah, I don't know. Like so the Packers need to wake up. They really, really do. And will they do it this week? It's it's tricky. I don't know.
We
Uh,
will get to them because they have a big game this week.
yeah.
But Panthers at home, they are favoured by 5.5
Yeah.
against their division rival Saints, who did play the Buccaneers pretty tough for a while.
How did Chuck do in his first career start?
I have not watched it, if I'm honest.
I did not watch Saints, but
I did not watch Saints. Wait, was that so? They played the Buccaneers 2 weeks ago. Oh yeah, they played the Rams last week. That's why I didn't watch it.
oh yeah. And it was in the late window, and the Rams just
That game was over quickly.
yeah, and yeah, Stafford was making all those crazy throws against the Saints.
Hmm.
Tay Adams is still really, 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 really good.
Yep.
I don't love it because it's the Panthers, but I think the Panthers are actually okay.
Hmm.
Yeah, 8, 9, kind of that. Some guy I know picked them to be like 2-14 or 2-15 or something crazy.
I said freezing cold takes question mark.
Yeah, I think they were going to be terrible. And Bryce Young didn't play well last week against the Packers, but they still won the game. Rico Dowdle was dealing with a quad injury, but is
Mm-hmm.
expected to play. And he's really, really turned his career around, even Dallas. And Chuba Hubbard was a candidate to get traded after this.
Wow.
Yeah, he was rumored to get traded because they love Rico Dowdle so much. He's the guy in Carolina. It's just funny how the NFL just turns around so quickly.
Mm.
Chuba Hubbard was their guy. They paid him, and now Dowdle's turned up in free agency, and they're like, no, actually, screw that. Like, yeah, somebody gives us a late round pick for Chuba Hubbard. He's out of here. Rico Dowdle's the guy. But he's played really, really well. And he played well last week again against the Packers. They're supposedly a really good defense. So, and the Saints just, yeah, they're not a good team. They're not good. It doesn't matter who plays quarterback. And
I'd like to know what offers they received on Tuesday because they should be clearing the deck. Like
well,
Alave's had 5 concussions, so like if you got a decent offer for him, you kind of should take it. Oh, they did deal Rashid Shaheed,
yeah,
who started to have a ball security issue with the Saints at least. So I think they got a fourth and a fifth for him. So pretty good.
yeah, but Shaheed's good. Shaheed,
Shaheed's been good, but lately ball security has been a problem.
yeah, yeah, but he can be good, and he has got speed.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I'll keep this short. Panthers win, Panthers cover, and Who's going to get the number one pick?
I agree. Let's move on. Right, next up, Giants at the Bears. Bears favored by 4.5. At one point last week, the Giants were giving up on average 6 yards per play. Like, there was a period of that game against the 49ers where, yeah, it was not pretty on defense. And there was a play, I think in the second, I want to say it was the second quarter, where the left tackle, Andrew Thomas, is going up against Clelin Ferrell, who just joined the 49ers. And he basically blocked him for half a play and then was like, oh, my job's done. It wasn't done because Ferrell then just slammed right into the back of Dart. So I don't think that looks very good on film. And, you know, first rounder playing against a player that is now, well, was a former first rounder, but kind of is fighting for his life in the league. That showed up. The Bears, I don't know what to say about them. I mean, that game was absolutely bonkers against the Bengals.
Yeah.
And by some miracle, they covered. So you went 2 for 2 in best bets. Well done.
Not the way I saw the game going, though. I did not see. Did you see this running back?
Oh, what's his? I can't remember his name,
He's
but
seventh round rookie, ran for 170.
mm, Bengals defense.
Yeah, Bengals defense. He gets paid off the back of the Bengals defense, then yeah, God bless the Bengals defense.
But he's got a great matchup again this week because the Giants defense, it's not like I know the front seven
Front seven, yeah.
is meant to be good, but as a collective unit, they are not very good right now.
Mm.
So it's like one of those like we've been seeing with the Vikings. Like they haven't turned up, and then boom, suddenly they turn up and show their true potential. It might be one of those days, but the Giants offensively didn't have much to offer against a very depleted 49ers defense. As I keep saying, there are third stringers on this defense. And I know the Bears defense isn't very good either. So this has the potential to be another kind of like chaotic game. But I'm going with the Bears because yeah, I think they are the slightly better team right now. And they are winning. Like, okay, it's a bit chaotic, as I've said. Like, they somehow tried to blow that game last week. I don't know what the guy is doing on the onside kick. The ball hasn't traveled. It traveled what 6 or 7 yards, and he's run forward.
Yeah,
That's not.
yeah. Good idea.
It's not a good idea. And
But
I don't.
like the games that you think that the Bears historically would lose, like those stupid end of end of game situations, a block kick, like the Jaden Daniels Hail Mary last year, and this Bengals game this past week. Those coin flip games, they're actually winning now.
Commanders this year, the fumble, and they win the game. So yeah,
Yeah, it is sort of not all together for the Bears, but you
no.
could they're not playing all that well, but they're actually winning some games. And Ben Johnson looks like a really, really good head coaching hire.
Uh,
So
what you said last week though as well, like when I was watching the game, like it made me chuckle because I was like, yeah, like Caleb, just calm down a bit. Like he's like a madman when he gets the ball. It's just like like Aaron Rodgers would say, RELAX, like relax a bit because I think it's affecting his play a bit.
yeah, yeah. Caleb might not be the guy for this offense long term, But I think Ben Johnson is the head coach for the Chicago Bears long term. He might outlast Caleb Williams. But anyway, like this game,
Early days, early days.
for me, this game, I looked at it and my first thought was over. Give me the over. The over's 48.
Yeah.
I think it's 48. Yeah. I quite like the over. I quite like the Bears to cover. I think Jackson Dart will have some success against his Bears defense. I don't think the Bears defense is any good. Um, yeah, Caleb just continue to just relax still, and you'll be fine. You'll be fine with Ben Johnson look after you. You'll be fine. You'll be fine. He doesn't have to move around so much.
Yeah. Like sit in the pocket. Like
Yeah, yeah, and yeah, it's I'm encouraged by I'm really encouraged by Ben Johnson and the Bears. I think they're going to be good.
yep. So on to the 9 o'clock window for us. It's an NFC West party. We got two divisional games at the same time.
Yeah,
First off, Cardinals at the Seahawks. Seahawks favored by 6.5, and with good reason.
yeah,
That was an impressive, you know, clinic that they put on against the Commanders. Game was over at halftime. It was what, a 4 minute spell where it was just pure dominance. They scored 21 points. And all this bullshit about Dak Prescott MVP, Drake May MVP. Well, I'm going to throw Sam Darnold into the mix because he is playing at a very high level. And it's going to be this is a great game, I think, because the Cardinals, if you remember last week, we thought it was going to be Kyler Murray, and I said if it was Jacoby Brissett, I would have been picking the Cardinals to win the game.
yeah,
And the Cowboys' defense showed why. You know, Brissett can pass the ball like at a much higher level than Kyler Murray because Kyler Murray is, you know, he doesn't have as strong an arm. He's smaller, so he can't make the same throws because he can't see the same throws.
yeah,
And that's not a dig at him. That's just the fact of it. Like the same
yeah,
with Purdy. They've all said it. I can't see. Purdy's like I have to anticipate where players are going to be because I can't see it. So Brissett is like a bigger, kind of tougher quarterback. He is not going to have the same amount of success that he had on Monday against this defense because this defense has surprised me quite a lot. I know that they are, historically pretty good with Mike McDaniel, but they're very good. Like, I actually think that, and we'll get to the next game, but this division is between the Seahawks and the Rams now. And, I know everyone's been very, very high on the Rams, and the last couple of weeks have shown probably why. But the Seahawks are there, right there with them. I say they win this game, but in Cardinals fashion, they will hang in there, I think, because they're our favorite sneaky team. And they do have weapons that are now able to make something happen because they've got a quarterback that can throw them the ball to some degree. But it's not enough. Like, it's not enough against this defense. Seahawks win.
yeah. The Cardinals are involved in one-score games, except when they play the Cowboys and the Cowboys defense. And yeah, Kyler Murray, I think it's over.
Yeah.
I think it's over. Like this experiment in Arizona, it's done. Um, Walter Nolan made his NFL debut against the Cowboys and was causing chaos. He's causing absolute chaos for Dak Prescott. And they've got Sweat as well, who's a really good player.
Hmm.
The Cardinals have some guys.
Yeah.
They're, they're kind of sneaky good, Arizona. They're
Calais Campbell
Calais Campbell's like in his
still making plays.
and he's still going and he's still playing at a really, really high level. Yeah, it gives hope to Cam Hayward will still be around in Pittsburgh and into his 40s. Jeez. Yeah, I wouldn't bet the Seahawks to cover. I do really, really like the Seahawks and the way that they're playing. And they've added another weapon at the trade deadline. This defense
Mm.
really, really good, the Seahawks defense. But they played the Commanders last week. I don't take much into it. I think the Commanders are completely fallen apart. Um, yeah, I'll take Seattle. I'll take the Cardinals to cover. That's what they do. This will be a game I'll be interested to watch.
Mm.
And yeah, but if the Cardinals can find a way to win this, and this division could go, then everybody's involved in this division. Because say the 49ers upset the Rams, then the 49ers upset the Rams and the Cardinals upset the Seahawks, and this could be a four-way division. Because the Cardinals are not bad, and the 49ers just are really well coached, and the Rams and the Seahawks are really good teams. Yeah, I really like this division. I hope as a neutral that the results of this week's games go exactly like I just said. The Cardinals upset the Seahawks and the 49ers upset the Rams, and it just continues on that way. And there's a chance of that happening.
Yeah, I mean, divisionals, that's what happens.
Yeah, there's a real live chance. Yeah, this is a game I'll watch. Cardinals cover, Seahawks win. Jackson Smith and Jigba is on pace for a 2,000-yard season. Through
Wow.
through 8 games, he has 900 odd yards. Yeah, the Seahawks are 6-2. Yeah, this division is crazy. If the Cardinals can upset the Seahawks, everybody's involved.
Wait, so what's the Cardinals' record right now?
3-5.
Wow. Yeah, it's a big one. This is a big one for them.
Yeah, 3-5, but every game has been one score.
Yeah. Testament to the coach. I still rate the coach.
Yeah, I mean their first round pass rusher just made his debut, so
Mm.
how their record could have changed could be different, and they're all one possession games.
Yep. So why don't we stay in division? Next up, Rams at 49ers. The spread is 4.5 in favor of the Rams.
Mm.
Another week, another season-ending injury for the 49ers with Michael Williams.
Yeah,
I don't know, I'm just numb to it at this point. I'm just sad to see all these guys go down. I don't know how the Giants, like it tells you the Giants have got problems because they didn't really put up a great fight. And you've seen in the last, 5 games for the 49ers, who the good teams are and the not so good teams are, because the good teams absolutely gash this defense with good reason. The Buccaneers, it's like 20 yards of play. And even the Texans, for example, you couldn't pressure CJ Stroud with one of the worst offensive lines in the NFL. And the 49ers won this game in LA, as you might remember, as I shouted from the rooftops. And at that point in time, I said, I'm not impressed with the Rams. And the 49ers validated that because they beat them in Levi South. But the last 2 weeks, and I saw it with my own eyes in London, the Rams are now playing at a very high level, especially their quarterback Stafford, who is just clinical at the moment. What's he had? 9 touchdowns in his last 2 games. This is a different Rams to that game earlier in the season, just like it's a different 49ers to that game earlier in the season. We haven't got Bosa. We haven't got, for me, the most important piece on that defense in Fred Warner. The offense can go. It's probably going to be Mac Jones again this week. They will put up a fight. But as much as, and I still stand by it, the 49ers own the Rams. This is not easy for us with all the injuries. I have to take the Rams simply because we are too depleted on defense and Stafford's playing at such a top level. I think that it might not be that close, in all honesty, with the way that Stafford's playing, but we'll certainly fight. And I respect the fight from the 49ers, the next man up mentality. We've thrown in Ferrell, we've traded for the guy from the Patriots.
Yeah.
These guys are fighting. D Winter's playing for injury. I think if we had Bryce Huff, I might have been tempted. I might have. But it's just too much to overcome this week, I'm afraid. If you can't rush Stafford, you're in massive trouble. And I think we are this week.
Yeah, the 49ers are interesting to me because they, like you said, they beat bad teams. And that's just a reflection of they are well coached and the bad teams are not well coached. But they're going against a team that are well coached this week. I think it's disrespectful, actually, the spread. I think I was surprised when I saw the spread and the games in San Francisco, Santa Clara, wherever, close enough. Yeah, I think the 49ers will win this game. I think they do have these crazy kind of games against the Rams. It's at home. I think the spread, or if they don't win, I think they'll cover.
Mm.
I think they will cover, and we've seen it that Shanahan does have a plan for McVay teams.
We've got to win time of possession to stand a chance.
Yeah, you absolutely do. And
Because every time that the Rams get the ball on offense, I'm telling you, you're going to see 20, 30-yard chunk plays.
yeah, I just think that the 49ers have a great chance to win this game. So they won't win from mistakes. That's the thing. And if McCaffrey can get going,
They let McCaffrey go off in LA.
yeah, I don't know which late game I'm gonna watch because I like both these games. Cardinals, Seahawks. I like both these games in this division. I like this division. I like both these games. Yeah, I'll take the 49ers.
Wow. Okay. So the final game of the 9 o'clock window is Lions at Commanders. Lions favored by 8.5. I'll hand over to you, Paul, but all I can say is, what the hell were they thinking with Jaden Daniels? I mean, and it's not, it's not hindsight. I'm sitting there watching the game the day after, and it's towards the end of the third quarter. And my other half is like, oh, is the game nearly over? I'm like, yeah, I think they're about to put the backups in so we can do something else. And Jaden Daniels is still in the game with 7 minutes to go. Crazy.
Yeah, they don't really do it that. They don't do it enough in the NFL though.
Mm.
It's not just a Washington problem, it's an NFL problem because yeah, when the game's done, what are you trying to achieve? Yeah. Um it sucks. It really sucks. Jaden Daniels, like, is a superstar, and I mean, what are we doing? What are you trying to achieve? By I just don't get it. Just live to fight another day. There's there's much more important tests ahead.
Yeah.
You're not just robbing your own team, you're robbing like rival fans and NFL fans, and it just sucks. It really sucks. Yeah, so the Commanders and Jaden Daniels covered up for a lot of things with the Commanders last year,
Mm.
and it's kind of all now coming out. This is a pretty bad roster all around. It was last year.
Oldest team in the NFL.
Yeah, no speed, um, bad defense, old defense, not that much speed. Terry McLaurin's out as well. Like, where's your speed on offense? Like, yeah, the Commanders, this could get ugly. And the Lions just, I don't know, they just involved sometimes in crazy games like last week against the Vikings. The Lions will win this. And I think they'll cover the 8 points, but I wouldn't bet them just because I don't trust them. But yeah, the Commanders are falling apart, and I wouldn't be shocked if they don't win if they don't win more than another couple of games the rest of the way. So
Yep. I think I'm just going to put last week down to division rival knows them well. They were up for it, and maybe they came off the bye week a bit rusty. No excuses, but I can't see it happening 2 weeks in a row. And to be fair, the Lions like to beat up on the poor. Like, they will smell blood. They'll be pissed off. I say they cover this week. But it won't be a best bet because they let us down last week. Right, so Sunday night football, your Pittsburgh Steelers pull against the Chargers in LA. What are your thoughts on this one?
I know you could say this for a lot of teams in the NFL, right? But if the Steelers could just put together a game on both sides, then wow, this could be a team, a real team. The Pittsburgh defense just the Pittsburgh defense turned up last week, and the offense, and because of that, the offense didn't really need to do much, and they didn't do much.
No.
These are the kind of games that you look back at the start of the playoffs and you go, damn, that was a great win, or oh, that was a big loss for either team. Like, the Steelers games make no sense sometimes. Last week was a classic Mike Tomlin game. We just got the order wrong. So even me supporting this team my whole life, like, you can't even predict which version of the Steelers defense is going to turn up this week. You would think Chargers have problems on the offensive line. Both their tackles are now down. Joe Alt came back and now he's done for the season. It's tough. They made a trade for Penning from the Saints. Is he going to make a difference so quickly? Justin Herbert's been hit the most of any quarterback in the NFL so far. So based off last week, the Steelers pressured Daniel Jones a lot. You'd think that would continue. There's no home field advantage for the Chargers. And the Steelers, like, Alex Highsmith turned up and had a disruptive game last week. So him, TJ Watt, Herbig replacing them, like spotting for them in pass rush situations. Jalen Ramsey, they finally figured out that he's not an outside corner. They moved him to safety, and he had a great game last week. They made the trade for Duggar, so they've now got Duggar, who had a great game last week as well. Him and Ramsey at safety. It's all looking good, at least on paper, for the Steelers' defense. And yeah, I'm going to do it. I'm going to pick the Steelers to go into LA. I think they're going to take over the stadium, the Terrible Towels. But they absolutely have to win these kind of games for seeding, and because the Ravens are coming now. Yeah, I think it's a bad matchup for the Chargers. But what I hope for this game is that the defense just finds a bit of consistency because they haven't put together like back-to-back games of playing at a high level. Last week was great. They got called out by their coach and they actually stepped up last week. Everything's all there for them. The defense turned up last week. Chargers have a bad O line. They really need this game for seeding in the playoffs. It's all there for them. So they just need to turn up and actually do it. And I think they will, but the games don't make sense with Pittsburgh. So we'll wait and see.
Hmm. So Ramsey's playing at safety now.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. Kind of forced through injuries, Deshaun Elliott going down and him showing when he got exposed against the Packers, like he's not an outside corner. And yeah, and he played really, really well. I mean, Jalen Ramsey coming into the league was a hybrid. He was a corner stroke safety coming out of college and hasn't played a lot of safety. But you've seen a lot of cornerbacks do that. You know, your Charles Woodsons and even going back Rod Woodson, when they lose the speed, they've still got the know-how of, and moving back to safeties just seems to be a natural thing.
And it goes back to what I said in the off season. What's the best version of Ramsey we've seen? It was with the Rams, where they used him as a true hybrid. So that's a great. I'm really encouraged by that move. So the Chargers, can we? I think that we need to cut Justin Herbert some slack for the rest of the year because this is a tough situation now. They can't run the ball against the Titans because their offensive line is banged up. So can how are they going to run the ball against the Steelers? And I know we're going off of one really good week for the Steelers, but I'm struggling. I'm really struggling. Like I think the game plan here is clear. Just be aggressive and rush Herbert because they can't protect him for very long at all. And I think is what you said last week. Let's get everyone involved. Let's get Highsmith, Herbig, and Watt on the field at the same time. Let's see if this Chargers offensive line this makeshift offensive line can do anything about it because I don't think that they can. Steelers offense, yeah, okay. They should have done more last week. And there were times in that game where the Steelers was making just dumb mistakes.
Yeah.
There was no need for the Colts to come back into the game. I'm taking the Steelers. I agree. I mean, this could be like a home game. And I just put it all on the fact that the Chargers offensive line is you can't plan for losing your two tackles. Like you're not going to make trades at the deadline to fix that. Like it's just not going to happen.
Well, that one guy from the Saints.
Yeah, it helps the situation, but it's not. We're not talking about the Chargers as like one of the premier offensive lines to begin with. So the fact you lose your two tackles and okay, you've made a trade with the Saints, I don't think it's enough. I think the game plan is clear. Be aggressive on defense, and the offense will do enough because the Chargers' defense, it it's a no-name defense really
Yeah.
that gets coached up by Jim Harbaugh, but that has been tested this year. They lack talent. Steelers win. Steelers are underdogs. Okay. Well, 2.5 Chargers at home speaks to the injuries. Yeah, Steelers cover. So that leaves us with a blockbuster game to end the week, Monday Night Football. We have the Eagles going into Lambeau Field against the Packers, who we've touched on already. The Packers are favored by 2.5. I don't know if you saw that play where Jordan Love should have been intercepted and it should have been basically 100-yard pick six. But it's that's like the bad side of Jordan Love. Like as a fan of his, I have to admit that. Like there is maybe this is what is causing LaFleur to be so conservative at times, is that yeah, like I've got this talent. I'm not going to say raw talent, but it's it's a development in progress still, and we see that the good is amazing, but we see that the bad can be quite bad. And yeah, like the Panthers let him off on that play because they dropped what would have been a 100-yard pick six. And the Eagles have not traded AJ Brown.
Yeah.
So this is I'm surprised that they didn't, because they've played what 2 games without him, and clearly the quarterback was motivated to put on a show without him. But they'll probably make up, and by the playoffs, suddenly this is just a ridiculous force again. I mean, they are a force on their day without AJ Brown, but with him, this is still the team to beat, in my opinion. And they've reloaded on defense. They've taken some good risks, in my opinion, at corner. Jalen Phillips, like he had a horrible injury. What was it, 2 years ago now? It wouldn't surprise me if they now pick him up when he's just coming back properly. So where to go with this one? Tucker Kraft out for the season. That sucks. Just as that man was just starting to, make his mark in the league properly.
Had a career day in Pittsburgh and then he's out for the year the next week. Yeah,
Yeah.
tough. The last time Jordan Love played the Eagles, they got knocked out of the playoffs and he threw 3 picks.
Mm, yep. In Philadelphia. That was still a close game. I'm taking the Eagles because even though the Packers get up for these big games, it feels like I can't pick them because I do have some qualms with the head coach. I just think that you cannot go into games with the mindset of don't make a mistake.
Yeah.
If Jordan Love is going to develop, you're going to have to let him make those mistakes. And I know we've said that, it's easy for me to say because we've seen some really bad mistakes from him, against the Lions last year, for example, in Lambeau. But you can't just wrap him in cotton wool. Like, you've got to unleash this offense. You know, I'm not saying you have to go full Detroit Lions, but it's worked for them overall, I think. When they get in pressure situations, they're built for it because they always go for it on fourth down. And, just stuff like that. I do think you'll get a better Packers this week, though. It's not going to be easy, but I'm going to roll with the Eagles.
Yeah, I agree. I'm going to pick the Eagles. I think they can win a few different ways. And the last time they played, they ran for 270 something yards as a team against the Giants. And the Panthers ran the ball last week against the Packers. That's not good for the Packers. And the Eagles, Yeah, I just trust the Eagles more than I trust the Packers. Just it just comes down to that for me.
They have so many playmakers on both sides of the ball.
Yeah. And if they haven't traded AJ Brown, you have to think that it's over. This nonsense is over. If there was a real problem, the Eagles are so well run that he would have been gone. And I'm sure they received some phone calls because it was out there that he was potentially available. So I'm sure they received phone calls. So either they were getting low ball offers, but the Eagles are well run enough to go, yeah, look, it's not enough. Like
Mhm.
we'll keep him because he's really, really good. But because they're so well run that you think that they would sort it out, that they can coexist. I mean, they won a Super Bowl together, these guys, so they can coexist. They have done last year, so they can just get together and just go, right, look, we're working together for the same thing, and let's let's just bury this, like it's done now. You didn't get traded, like it's done. It's done.
They're a different offense when they're on the same page. Seen it in the Super. Saw it in the first Super Bowl. AJ Brown double covered. Jalen Hurts says, "I'm going to throw it anyway."
Yeah,
50-yard touchdown. So
yeah. And Jalen Hurts, I don't think, I probably credit Jalen Hurts more than a lot of people. He's on pace for like 40 touchdowns. He's got like 20 touchdowns so far. So halfway through the season, all purpose, of course, like throwing and running, and he runs for a few touchdowns. He's on pace for 40 touchdowns. I think he has like one pick.
he has one pick. I saw that.
Yeah, that's crazy. And everyone's, because they're the Eagles, because they're high profile, but everyone gets on Jalen Hurts. It's like, yeah, but you'd love your quarterback to have that stat line. But because he's on the Eagles, we go, oh no, but yeah, and he doesn't look that good. Yeah, look at wins, look at championships, look at division titles. He doesn't give a damn about like this AJ Brown thing, for example. That doesn't win you championships. Like a diva wide receiver. Like I think it's done. I think the Eagles are just going to continue to roll now. Their division is over. Their division is a mess. It's done. It, and now for the Eagles, it's these kind of games to get the seeding for the playoffs. It's these games against Bucks. They've already beaten the Bucks. So rest of the season, like they played the Rams. They beat the Rams.
They beat the Rams.
Yeah, so they're in a great position, the Eagles. Great position. And if they win this week, then, oh, the Eagles have problems. Okay, well, guess who's going to be the number one seed in the NFC?
They've had first world problems. Oh, our quarterback doesn't get on. Oh, sorry, our quarterback and our number one receiver, who's like a top five receiver, aren't getting along. Oh, okay. We'll have a conversation and we'll fix it. Oh, okay. We're back now. We didn't trade him, so we're back now. Yeah, this team is
Yeah, and
time
you
for another
trust them
run.
enough to know that if they didn't trade him, they didn't trade him for a reason, that it's done.
Yeah.
It's done.
Okay. Well, those are all the games in the books. Week 10 best bets. Floor is yours, Paul.
Giants, Bears, over 46 and a half points. I think it should be in the 50s. Don't like either defense. Ben Johnson coached offense. Simple as that. Giants, Bears, over 46 and a half.
Love it. Give me Vikings plus 4.5. Like, we've both picked them to win the game. If they happen to lose the game, it doesn't feel like this will be a blowout just because the Ravens defense should allow the Vikings to score points.
I'm going to take the San Francisco 49ers to cover 4.5 points at home to the LA Rams. Recent history, San Francisco is a really well-coached team, have a great recent record against the Rams at home, division game. Yeah, 49ers plus 4.5.
Okay. Give me the Browns -2.5 at the Jets. I know it's risky, but Fields has struggled. Like he had a good game, or was it a couple of weeks ago? They have got rid of two of their best players on defense, and that interior is asking to be run on by my man Quinshon Judkins. So give me the Browns -2.5. Right, next up, week 10 touchdown to glory pool. So we want niche picks. We want kind of like 2 to 1. I will start us off. Yeah, I'm going to start us off. Give me my man David Njoku, 15-8 for an anytime touchdown against the Jets. It's really going to be one of three players for the Browns. It's going to be Quinshon Judkins, it's going to be Fanning Jr., the other tight end, or it's going to be the Chief, David Njoku, who already has had success with Dylan Gabriel.
So we're looking for anytime touchdown scorers about 2 to 1.
Yeah, so it's kind of like we can't really pick captain obvious picks. It's got to be kind of your tight ends, your wide receiver twos, or your quarterbacks. Your quarterbacks to rush.
Okay. I will. What's the Bills tight end to get a touchdown?
Which one?
Yeah, I will go with Dalton Kincaid, anytime touchdown against the Miami Dolphins and their secondary, which I hate, is available at 2 to 1 anytime.
I love it. So Kincaid. Give me Jawan Jennings against the Rams. Last year, he had 3 touchdowns in LA. So he was banged up for the first game. I say they catch them off guard. Jawan Jennings, anytime touchdown, 9-4.
And I'm gonna find my guy, the Bucks receiver. Yeah, Tez Johnson is 2 to 1 anytime touchdown against the Patriots. He's involved in deep throws from Baker. He's going to be involved with their injuries. I love Tez Johnson this week, 2 to 1.
Okay, I love it. So Tez Johnson. It really is touchdown to glory this week because that fourfold, you can get that at 98-1.
Shout out to Keishon Booty as well for the
Oh,
at 2 to 1. He's another.
a
He's another
sneaky
one.
one.
Yeah, he's been involved this year.
Yeah, yeah, because Diggs gets the attention. Then you're thinking Hunter Henry, so Booty's been involved.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll move on to the week 10. Who's going off draft?
Okay, I'm gonna continue. I'm gonna pick my same guy from last week. I'm supporting him. I think that Caleb Williams is going to continue and have another big game this week against the Giants. He's kind of getting it together a little bit with Ben Johnson, and I think he'll take some confidence from the last second throw against the Bengals. He played a pretty clean game last week. I know it was against the Bengals, but this is another bad defense all around. And if they can protect him, I think he's going to have a big game.
Yeah, I like it. And I forgot to say, this is now the Jonathan Taylor Invitational. He is not he is not selectable in this draft because of the fact he seems to go off every week.
Yeah.
So, interesting. It is a bit obvious because this individual is also going off every week, but I'm going to do it in the divisional spot. Give me Jackson Smith and Jigba. Some of the ways that he separates, he makes DBs look silly. And as good as the Cardinals are, I'll be interested because if there's someone that can game plan, it is Jonathan Gannon. But I think that this guy is unguardable right now. So I expect another big game from Jackson Smith and Jigba.
Uh,
And just to say, this may be giving away where I'm picking, but you can pick defensive players too.
okay. I'm gonna I'm gonna pick Thursday Night Football. I'm gonna pick Brock Bowers. He came back last week, and they don't have any other real significant weapons in the passing game. No Pat Surtain. He came back in a big way last week with 3 touchdowns. Yeah, give me Brock Bowers.
Okay. So I'm gonna go Sunday night football on the national stage. Someone that we haven't heard his name called all that often that so far this season. Well, I say it starts this week. Give me TJ Watt against this undermanned offensive line of the Chargers. This is the week that he comes back and causes mayhem.
So one more.
One more.
One more. I am gonna say that Baker Mayfield feels himself a little bit this week and would love nothing more than to beat Drake May, the sweetheart of the American media, and kind of put him, pull him a bit down to earth. Yeah, Baker carries this team, and I think they're going to beat the Patriots. And I think that Baker, it doesn't matter who plays receiver for the Bucks, he's going to find a way to win this game and outduel Drake May.
Okay. That's a great game. Last pick. Hmm.
A Lions player against the Commanders defense, but which one?
I feel like I pick this guy often though, but it does feel like a bounce back spot for the Lions. So I'm taking the superstar Jameer Gibbs. The Commanders, the oldest defense in the league, is starting to show. This feels like a spot where the Lions will be motivated to uh, put last week behind them. So, how do you do that? You give the ball to Jameer Gibbs. And if this offensive line blocks the way it should, this could be one of those games where Gibbs goes for a 75-yard touchdown.
Yeah, I agree. I think Lions is a great spot this week for player props. It's just
Mm.
which angle to go.
Yep. Okay. Well, we will finish off with the wheel spin bet builder. So there's definitely some prop games there this week. It's just a case of what are we gonna get? Blue. Which one was blue? Uh-oh. Uh-oh. This is a good one. This is a good one. Blue is Giants Bears.
Okay. Over 46.5 points
Yep. So
to get us going.
get us going.
Who are we betting with? Because I'm on bet 365.
So
So,
I've got Sky Bet,
okay.
and I'm pretty certain that I saw that market that you talked about, the longest reception.
Okay.
So let me just have a look. It's there. Well, it's player to record either a 20 plus yard reception or a 30 plus yard reception.
Mhm.
So, for example, DJ Moore, 30 plus yard reception, 5-2.
Oh, we don't. Yeah. Okay.
Or 20-yard reception, 4-5. So,
Okay.
although they only give you four options, which is
No, it's better the quarterback longest completion if they have that.
that. Ooh, I don't think we've got that.
Because that's normally like 30, between 30 and 40.
So if I go to bet 365, because they seem to have really good markets. So NFL. So we've got over 46 and a half.
Yep.
Oh, they want me to log in. I don't have an account. Damn it.
But
All right, well,
you don't need to log in.
I tried to make a selection and it's saying I have to log in, which is weird.
Oh yeah, that's the build a bet. Yeah, I can just see the prices.
Okay.
So,
All right. Well, I'll
well,
go
if you
back to
find the
Sky.
prices, then I can put them in the bet calculator.
Yeah, okay. Okay. What else we got here? Well, okay, so I have got one in mind. It's a tricky one because as I've been saying the last couple of weeks, they're positioning Adunze to be the number one,
Yeah,
but they haven't been able to have success, and his dad has been like vocal about how it's not going well.
yeah. So,
And they've paid DJ more.
yeah,
So it worked for me last week. I say we go with it this week. DJ Moore over 43 and a half receiving yards.
yeah, yeah. Jackson Dart, Jackson Dart passing yards against the Bears defense.
So passing,
This is a defense that Joe Flacco had a career day. 41-year-old Joe Flacco had the best passing day of his career last week against
Dart's only,
Chicago.
Dart's only at 209 and a half.
Yeah, I love it.
Love it. All right, well, sticking with the theme, sticking with the theme of Jackson Dart, this number's a bit high though. I want to say Jackson Dart rushing, but 37 and a half.
No, I will stick with passing.
Yeah, stick with passing.
Stick
If
with passing, just him.
if that had been 20, because he will take off, like he takes off a lot. But I
Yeah.
feel like teams have caught up with it a bit. So what about your guy, Kyle Monongai?
The rookie.
the rookie seventh rounder. His
Yeah,
over under is 40.5. And
yeah,
this Giants defense has been leaking on the ground.
but that's a reflection that Swift might be back. So he might,
Oh, Swift. Ah,
I don't know that for sure, but he played because Swift didn't play last week.
and it's dangerous to pick Swift because you don't know if he'll re-aggravate.
Yeah, wait and see if Swift injury.
And Caleb at 16.5 rushing, I like it, but he's a bit inconsistent. Like he runs if he has to scramble. It's not designed.
Yeah.
So if he doesn't have to scramble, or if you've got a talented front seven and they can contain, he's not going to run all that much. But 16.5, is tempting.
It is tempting. I had, yeah, I, I'm not sure about either of the Bears running backs. So
Yeah, it's a
let
shame as well. It's a good matchup.
yeah, let's just do Caleb. So we did Jackson Dart passing yards.
Yep.
Okay,
DJ Moore receiving
okay. So
over 46.5.
what prices have you got so I can work this out?
Yep. So I've got, let's have a look. So I've got 4 to 5 on the points total.
Yeah,
Got 5 to 6 on dart passing
yeah.
and 5 to 6 on more receiving.
That's all we got.
Yep. And how about this? How about Caleb Williams 2 passing touchdowns? Or do you want to go dart 2 passing touchdowns? Because Ben Johnson at the goal line
Yeah,
decided that Caleb wouldn't throw it, but would receive it. So
I would go Jackson Dart.
let's go Jackson Dart because, he's pretty productive. 11 to 10 as well.
Okay, okay. So we'll leave it at that because that's four. That's not to be greedy. So that pays. That pays 12 to 1.
Job done.
Yeah,
So hold on, that is that 4 legs? That is
yeah.
over 46.5. DJ Moore over 43.5 receiving yards.
Mhm.
Jackson Dart over 209.5 passing yards. And Jackson Dart 2 passing touchdowns.
Yeah, that pays 12 to 1 with Bet365.
Love it.